You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box. What on earth is he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. I feel it. Feel it, you feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of Doctor Who universe. Hold tight. You never know where the TARDIS is going next.
Hey there, Whovians, and welcome to another episode of Earth Station Who. That's right, folks, we're back. And we're continuing with looking at the stories with the Doctor and Donna. And we are going to knock out a two-parter in this one, folks. We're looking at the Sontaran Stratagem and the Poison Sky. And it's going to be a ton of fun talking all about this. It's, David Tennant and, Catherine Tate at their best. And it was fun. And we also got Martha. We got Freema back for a storyline also. So it was kind of neat to see. And we got to laugh at Unit and go, God, we missed the Brigadier. God, we missed the Brigadier in these stories. So it was a ton of fun. And we got a great crew to talk all about this one. And as we always like to say, if you haven't seen it yet, we are going to spoil the hell out of it. So please, this show came out, this first aired in 2008. So,
Yeah, so it's not our fault if you haven't seen it yet.
Exactly. So literally God, that's 15 years, folks. 15 years ago.
Yes, we're all old.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. I was still in my 30s. Wow. That's pretty amazing. So I think most of us were. Well, Shannon was still in elementary school, so it's okay.
Hey. I was in college.
Okay. So, but yeah, it was pretty awesome. And of course, we got, like I said, great crew. Let's say hey to, of course, the wonderful Shannon is back.
Hello.
It is awesome to have you back on the show. And
yeah.
We are also joined, of course, my co-hosts, my regulars, my favorite people to talk Doctor Who with. Of course, Mr. Mike Gordon.
Howdy.
And Ms. Mary Ogle.
Hi, everybody. It's fantastic to be here.
Oh, it's always great to have you guys here. And you know what, folks? This is going to be a fun one. And feedback at our station Who is the best way to talk all about it. Doctor Who news. Let's jump in with both feet. None. There isn't really. There really isn't anything. The only thing that they've announced officially is we are getting a holiday special, and it is going to be with Ncuti as the 14th Doctor. Or,
Woo-hoo.
Excuse me, 15th Doctor.
Yeah, get that right. It's very important.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey type stuff. So it's a ton of fun. It's we haven't gotten a trailer. We haven't gotten new trailers for the specials yet. So
well, we got a little teaser.
Yeah, well, exactly. But we really haven't gotten anything. But I'm glad on Christmas Day, we're going to have new Doctor Who. So
Woo-hoo.
I think
Yay.
it's pretty awesome. So I'm excited for it. And you know what? We had a rumor about when, season 14 is going to be showing. But you know what? We're not going to mention it because BBC pulled it. And we don't go on rumors on this show. Yeah, right. What am I talking about?
But we're always wrong.
Yeah.
When we do talk about them, we're wrong.
Oh, we're so used to having egg on our face on this show. It's just, it's just the standard here. So definitely worth, looking forward to spring 2024. God, that's weird to say, 2024. That always seemed like that was the future, and we're living.
It still is the future.
Yeah, it still is.
Yes.
And well, the way
but not so distant.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
so distant. Yeah. And I don't think we'll have jetpacks by then.
Well, speak for yourself.
So,
we might have
so
ATMOS by
wrong.
Yeah, we'll have ATMOS in our cars. It'll be perfect. So, we'll
Please
be.
no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It'll
we've
be
already
cool.
got poison in our skies. We don't need to add to that.
No comment there, but yeah. But other Doctor Who news for anyone who is attending Dragon Con this weekend in Atlanta, Georgia. Earth Station Who is going to be participating. You thought we weren't going to be there, did you? Ha ha. But
We're not.
No, we're not. We're going to be there virtually. So if you want, it's 11:30 on Saturday. We are going to be doing a Doctor Who panel on their virtual YouTube channel, and you could definitely find it through the Brit Tracks, and we'll put up links and everything once it's out there for people to see. And we are talking all about the spin-offs of Doctor Who, talking about from the spin-offs from the classic era all the way into, since the series has come back, we talk about Torchwood, we talk about Sarah Jane, we talk about that other show that had no class. It was like, so it's going to be interesting. And we also then talk about what we would like to see coming up in RTD's era. And there's been tons of rumors about shows already that are possibly going to be popping up. And hopefully we'll get some news about that soon. So it's a fun panel, folks. And the three of us are there. And, we're joined by some really good friends. And we have a ton of fun. Also, virtually with Dragon Con, also on Sunday at 11:30 a.m., we also have a Earth Station 1 panel where we are talking about the music of James Bond. So it is a ton of fun there. And we're joined by Matthew Kressel and Alan Porter. So it is pretty awesome to talk all things James Bond and the different music and, some of the tunes that almost happened and didn't happen, or which one was our favorite, which one didn't we like. We get some oohs and ahs. It was actually kind of fun to do. And when there's any time talking about James Bond, there's always a, shaken not stirred available. So it's always great. So definitely check that out also. All right, kids, let's just jump into the episode. Let's not even take a break.
Doctor, it's Martha, and I'm bringing you back to Earth.
10. It's just like old times.
9.
But what are you searching for?
8.
Sontaran!
Launching in 7.
What do I do?
6.
Do not engage in battle.
5.
The people are going to fight back.
4.
This is our chance.
3.
I told you not to launch.
2.
Glorious warfare.
1.
Get them out of there!
Is there a ton to talk about with this one? Yeah, kind of.
Sorta, kind of.
It can be.
Yeah. So I remember watching this when this first came out, and
were you impressed?
No, I haven't watched it since. This is not my favorite of the Doctor Who era. Tennant and, of course, the lovely Catherine Tate were great in it. So was Freema. Those were the shining points in it. We got Dan Starkey doing his first time as a Sontaran.
That was
in
cool.
it. Yes. And we got to see a lot of unit people get killed. It was awesome,
all over the place, even the
yes,
even the one we
Russ.
like.
yeah.
Poor Russ.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you just knew he was doomed.
oh god, the bad guys, the Sontarans were great because this was the first time we had seen the Sontarans since the Tom Baker era, I think.
No,
So,
Yeah.
was no? When did
they're
we-
in the Two Doctors.
Oh, that's right. I tried to block that one out of. I tried to block. I really tried to block that
Like,
one out of my mind.
85 or something like that.
Yeah,
Wow, I'm the one who has to come and pull that out. That's
Yeah.
unusual, but yeah.
no. Even though I love the Second Doctor, I tried so to block that one out of my mind. Sockeye and them turning trying to convert the Doctor and them trying to eat Perry. At least she was going for something good, but it was interesting in this one because you got a ton of Sontarans. And you got this really spoiled brat who was trying to betray humanity to the Sontarans.
Oh my God, he was a creepy little sociopath.
What, Luke Radigan?
Little twerp.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if he was supposed to be, if they were trying to make him into like the guy who found Facebook, or if like a
I mean, these days he's Elon Musk or somebody like that.
Yeah, but Elon wasn't,
I
in the
know.
limelight
I'm just
at the
saying
time.
these
He
days.
definitely had some Zuckerberg qualities to
I mean, he's, I think he's a prodigy kid, like we've seen, depicted many, 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 many times. I actually like this one a lot. I like this two-parter. I like because at the time it was, the first time we'd seen, as you mentioned, Mike, it's the first time we'd seen the Sontarans and New Who. And I thought they were depicted really well, not only by, Dan Starkey, but Christopher Ryan from The Young Ones. I never thought I'd see him as a Sontaran, but he I think their performance and the makeup on them, I think, is amazing. The costumes look a little rubbery, but still, I mean, this is what we see.
The Sontarans always did, though.
I mean, they really used to look really potato-y. Like these don't look as potato-y, but I thought that they looked really, really cool. And I thought the performances of both those guys, as well as, the others or whatever, was really cool. I liked, the fact that we got Unit finally back in the new series. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was there was some strong moments in this. I mean, yes, the plot is silly, but it really reminds me of a Third Doctor story. It really reminds me of a Third Doctor story, and I felt like that was intentional and it works for me. But also throughout the whole thing, I think you have some really good character moments between Martha and Donna, the Doctor and Donna, the Doctor and Martha. Like, I think the fact that Donna and her family, it's really great seeing Bernard Cribbins again. Like, I think this is the first.
Awesome. Wilf was awesome.
There's some really great moments between Donna and Wilfred in this. I think there's a lot to like. Like, the plot's ridiculous, but when isn't it a lot of times, but I really enjoy this one.
Yeah, I agree. I love this one because of the relationship aspects that you see for each and every character in connection to the other ones. Like how Donna and Martha became buddies so quickly. I thought that was pretty cool. I liked how the Doctor got right into step with Wilfred again, and how it just the race relationships, they just were perfect. Again, plot, probably could have been a little bit better, but overall, I think it was pretty well done.
I agree with that. And I love the interaction when Wilf realized that the Doctor was the guy from the newsstand.
That was a great moment.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was this running gag because every time Donna kept introducing the Doctor to her family, they were like, "Oh, I remember you," and then she's like, "Wait, you guys?" She's thinking that they've never seen each other before, and he knows them already. They know each other. Yeah, exactly. And I thought that was kind of funny. A nice running gag there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the mother is like, "I recognize you from the wedding." It's like, oh. Donna's mother is still such a,
Yeah,
work.
it's RTD's mother issues coming to the forefront again.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't like this one quite as much as you guys. I didn't hate it. I'm not a fan of Helen Rayner's writing. And though I will say these are probably her best episodes that she did. And there are some really nice character moments in here. You're right. And, but I think that's almost more on the actors than it is on the writing, and the plot is terrible. It bugs me. And so that's what brings this down. And also I don't like the Luke Gradigan guy is such a nothing. He's like the one character in there that is just nothing. I mean, it's not even, it's banal kind of evil. And I mean, really banal to the point of uninteresting. So you can
basically tell the story without him.
Yes, exactly.
Very much
exactly. So. He just doesn't need to be there. And when he dies, you don't care at all. And Yeah.
I disagree. I don't think he's integral, but I do find his arc interesting. I think it could have been certainly developed a little bit more, but there were traces of scenes, and usually you're right, Mary. I think it was more the acting choices than it was maybe the material that was in front of them. But there were scenes, especially when the Doctor meets him, there were almost scenes that, like, I got the impression that if Luke had found the Doctor before he had found the Sontarans, then his life would have gone a completely different way. But he hadn't experienced anything like that before, and I just that sequence between the Doctor and him, when the Doctor says, like, I know what it's like to be clever, you're so lonely. I mean, that tells us a little bit about the Doctor as well. Like, I did find those scenes kind of interesting. It's not, it's not anything too deep. I mean, but I did find Ryan Sampson's portrayal of him, annoying enough that I was like, yes, I believe that I'm going to dislike you because you are obnoxious. And so I think everything worked for me as far as all that went too.
It was interesting with him because, he was your typical rich, spoiled brat who is, smart and, very clever and always got his way. And even the Doctor, when he first saw him, said, you don't hear the word no very often, do you?
Mm-mm.
And it was just like, and I hate to say it, I disagree with you there, Mike. I don't think if he met the Doctor, he would have been a different person.
The ending proves that he would have, though, because he does the right thing at the end.
Because he had nothing else. Everyone else left him. His students at the school that he was trying to, create, finally realized he was full of it. And basically he
still didn't have to sacrifice himself for everything.
He had nothing else. Everything else he was gone. The people he believed in with the Sontarans and everything were going to use his students as, basically as bait to, target practice. And so no, I think, he thought he had the world. He was going to sacrifice every person on Earth just to, get his way. So now I don't think there was anything redeeming about him. His sacrifice at the end to me was just like, okay, he did that.
It's more like, for me, it was more like, I'm just going to kill myself because I'm a murderer many times over and nothing good is going to happen to me once this is over.
Exactly. Because
this is it.
Well, that would have been fine, but he could have just taken the gun to his head. But instead, he takes out the Sontarans and he saves the Doctor.
Because
I still find that self-serving. I'm going to be noble.
Why is him saving the Doctor self-serving?
Because he basically, I'm going to go get those guys because they turned against me. They did me bad. Literally.
So he could have beamed up there without saving the Doctor.
Yeah, I think it's more about him wanting a moment of glory than finding any real empathy.
Mm-hmm. I think it just happened that the Doctor was standing. The Doctor was just there. It just happened to teleport back, change places with it.
I think the writing is base enough that you can argue like to the end of time, and there's not enough to know.
Well,
there's not enough to know.
I think that's valid criticism.
Because I think it's, as Mary pointed out, I think it's all because of acting choices. So whatever you're getting from the actors is what you're projecting onto the characters rather than what the script is saying, because the script is too vague.
Too vague. Yeah.
And I do feel like we didn't see him enough. Like we didn't see, like we saw, there was a lot to juggle in this. And I mean, if he was written better, we wouldn't have. We didn't see enough of him.
You pity him? Why?
I pity him because if you looked at it from the nerd perspective, he was that guy who was super nerdy, super clever, but he couldn't connect to anybody. He had that like social lacking. And all the people he brought around him were all the same. He even had like that whole speech, like, come on, stay with me, guys. And like, look, none of them want us. Let us go ahead and like move on. So I kind of pity him because I think he was that person who never truly connected to anyone until the Sontarans, until somebody gave him like a thing. And so I kind of feel bad for him. I kind of feel like had he actually had real human interaction and not been put down by others and not been a recluse of some sort, he might have actually been a decent human being at some point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think there's reason to think that if, like I said, if he had found the Doctor, someone appreciated his cleverness and earlier on, instead of rejecting him constantly, and then the Sontarans using him, I think it would have been very different.
See, I don't feel like his character had enough depth to support that. I feel like he was, I mean, he felt to me, he felt more like a sociopath, like somebody who simply was not capable of empathy. But I mean, that was my read on it.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of Adam from season 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought of that too.
So,
I thought of that as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Big
it's
callback.
that whole like, yeah, had he met the Doctor early, yeah, it might have gone well, but because he thinks he's smarter than everybody else in the room, he was going to make a ton of mistakes. And at some point he would end up having to deal with the consequences of those mistakes.
Yeah.
So I think he would have been a better person had he met the Doctor earlier, but he would have been suffering because of all the mistakes he made while he was with the Doctor.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, because as we like to say, Adam was the companion that failed because he thought he was smart enough and that he was smarter, and he took advantage of the Doctor's generosity to bring him along, and it backfired completely on it.
Yeah.
Because he, as he, thought, oh, I'm going to download all of human history onto my answering machine so I can become rich and famous. And it was just like, God, that was so stupid. So, yeah. And no, I did get the Adam feel from this guy, too. So what did you guys think of having Unit back? Did it work in this? Or was this just like, were they all bumbling and such, and use
there's
their
nothing new about them bumbling.
I was going to say, like, when is Unit bumbling? I think at one point the guy says well, I'm sorry that the Brigadier's not here, kind of hinting that he's still around, but he's stuck in Peru. And I was like, I don't think anything would be that different. I don't think the Brigadier would be like, yeah, Doctor, I'm not going to attack. Because, I mean, the Brigadier was known for doing stuff.
Yeah, he did that all the time.
All the time. So I think it was nice. It was a nice callback to finally see Unit, have Unit be back in New Who. And granted, it would go through some more iterations before it really felt like Unit as we would really appreciate it. Like now that we have it with the Briggs daughter and everything like that. I mean, I think that's just chef's kiss now. But this was a pretty good introduction for them, I think.
Yeah, I think it was really fun to see Unit again in this context. And I think Colonel Mace is basically a stand-in for the Brigadier, which is fine.
I didn't feel like he was doing anything that the Brig wouldn't do.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they wrote it with the Brig in mind and they couldn't get him or something,
Yeah.
Well, probably by this point already, Nicholas Courtney's health probably wasn't all that great.
Yeah. This is when it was kind of really starting to deteriorate, I'm afraid. But so I mean, it's possible that this was written with that in mind, and really would have. Boy, if he had been in this, it really would have harkened back to a third Doctor era. I mean, the plot is almost like I could just see it. It seems like it's just like if I didn't know any better, and I looked it up, and if I didn't know any better, I thought they found a script that wasn't produced from the third Doctor era, and they used it here because it just really feels like that has that sort of tone and feel to it. And yes, back then those plots were ridiculous, especially with the Master, but there was some fun and charm to him, and I kind of felt that way in this one too.
Mm-hmm. Well, back then you also had Benton, you also had Yates, you also had other characters.
We get a couple of them here, you know.
Yeah, not any that you actually had any attachment to.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't say that.
I would.
Yeah, when what's his name dies, it was kind of sad.
What's his name?
Well, yeah, exactly.
I can't think of his name, but
good old what's his name,
I know, because the doctor makes it a point. He's like, he has a name. And I'm like, I can't remember it.
Ross?
That's my bad, though. Huh?
It was
Ross.
Ross
yeah.
Jenkins, yes.
Yeah,
Shannon.
Ross Jenkins.
Shannon
I mean, I thought he was pretty good. And actually, even the ones that went down there and, I mean, they're kind of stupid, but the ones that go down there and get taken over first, I thought they at least had some personality to them.
Oh, that's true. They were kind of a double act there. That was kind of fun to watch. Yeah.
And it was great, the Sontaran, when they were invading, they said, we're here to serve. And the Sontaran just turns around and shoots them. It's like, okay. It's like, okay, that's what happened to those guys. Good on them. But and then you had the Martha clone. And, so at least
and Freema did a good job.
Yes,
Freema was amazing. Like, I think it was really interesting. And you guys know what a big Martha fan I am. So to see her in this, like when she's introduced and when she meets up with Donna, and Donna remarks something about like how, I think she says after meeting her, like she says to the doctor, like, you turned her into a soldier. What's up with that? Like, something like to that effect. And it was really telling. At the end of the episode, at the end of the first part, she becomes kind of the companion that screams, which is not fun ever. But we forgive that because she's so good at being bad here. I kind of wish we'd seen, more bad Martha, more evil Martha. And the scene between her and her clone is really moving. And I'm like, she's acting against herself. And I'm like, that is so difficult to do. And yet I'm not questioning it at all while I'm watching it. I thought it was really well done. Props to Freema on this one. I think it was really, really a standout two-parter for her.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And her having to be in the green bubble bath or whatever that was as the clone coming out of it.
Yeah.
It was just like,
hey, that worked for me.
More power to her. So good on that. I think she was one of the strongest parts of the story, in my opinion. I think she was the great mustaching, twirling villain as the clone, but she was great. She wasn't the lovesick puppy that she was in season 3.
Thank God. Yeah.
No, she was more mature. She had grown up and everything, but she also had been in Torchwood also by this point also.
Yes.
Yeah. And they kind of made her still lovesick, but for someone else. And I wish they hadn't done that. Like, I just, it would have been nice if she had been just
Martha on her own.
She didn't have to be associated with another doctor who was never around. Like, that just seems like, you're just replacing one with another. That doesn't sound healthy.
Well, it's all downhill from there for her.
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah. I don't even want to, nope, I'm not even going to acknowledge what happens next. Nope, not going to do it, because that's just that's the ultimate insult to Martha.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Nope,
God,
I agree with that.
If Russell doesn't do anything else coming back, he needs to rectify Martha Jones and her fate. Like, he needs to do that.
I mean, there's just something really nice when you get to see a companion be competent. Like when Donna goes into the office and discovers that nobody's ever had a sick day. And she's like, well, guess what? You guys are too stupid to figure this out.
Yeah, she's like super temp. And then she kind of regresses a little bit in the second half when she's on the Sontaran ship. She seems a little too timid to me, but
very much so.
But
it would be understandable that she would be very freaked out.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying it's not. It just, but I mean, yeah. But
and
she
this is still in the early days of her being with the doctor.
Yeah.
So,
but she quickly gets over it, especially after she takes the first Sontaran down. She's like, blow to the neck. Like, she's like excited about it. She's like, yeah, now I'm gonna be able to do this. And yeah, it's cool. I mean, they do have amazing chemistry as a 1-2 act.
Oh, exactly. And I love the scene when the doctor had hacked into the communication system, and he was talking to Donna, not to the Sontarans. And and that was pretty awesome.
That's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're the Sontarans, you're like, the Sontarans.
Yeah.
Well, but we know the Sontarans are not that bright, so it's okay. It works.
Exactly.
I also really, really like the fact that they made it very clear. Again, this could be an acting choice more than a script choice, but they made it really clear that the doctor knew that Martha was not Martha right away. Like we knew right away that, so we didn't have any sort of like, oh my God, he just felt like we knew that he was onto her right away and how he was using her and everything. And I thought that was a lot of fun. They could have easily tried to, pull the rug under it later. And I'm glad they didn't do that.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
I thought
I agree.
There were some great moments in this. I'm not saying it was, but for me, it didn't need to be a 2-parter also. It felt like it could have been.
The cliffhanger is weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I don't like it.
The cliffhanger kind of almost feels like an ending.
Yeah.
In some ways it was.
All right.
Well, the cliffhanger does feel, and when I say weak too, it's not only weak story wise and need you to come back more, but it's just the doctor looking in the street with their smoke, and it's like he seems so helpless, and I'm like, this is not. I mean, I don't think that the doctor needs to be like on top of everything all the time, but it just seemed like he was overwhelmed like I don't think I'd ever seen him before, and I didn't think that really the situation warranted that. And
I love how it was Donna's mom to rescue Wilf.
Yes, yes,
and everything. It's like, break the effing glass.
I know. It's like, it actually isn't that hard. You can break the glass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't save you because I love my car too much. I don't want to have to go through insurance to try to. So it was kind of silly, but yeah, it was interesting. It was good to have the Sontarans back, and this led to so many different appearances from the Sontarans going forward, because not just on Doctor Who, but we also had gotten them on Sarah Jane, and then we got them, of course, as part of the Paternoster gang. So,
and in fact, the one of the ones that survives this story is one that appears in the Sarah Jane Smith adventure.
Exactly.
Episode. So I mean, that's a direct continuation from this story, and yeah, of course, we see Dan Starkey really come to be a Sontaran that we grow to love as Stax.
Exactly. So it's pretty cool stuff. Any final thoughts before we go ahead and rate this one?
I actually really liked a lot of the nods to like older stuff, and not just like old Who, but like even like earlier in the season stuff. Like when 10 had the mask on and he says, "Are you my mommy?"
Oh, yeah.
Which was awesome.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I laughed
I almost spit out my water when I saw that. It's like,
and I caught it the first time I saw that episode, and I was just like, "That is hilarious! I can't believe that they like took it back all the way to that.
Because that wasn't David that was in that one, so that was a really great callback there.
Yep.
Well,
but I think it's really cool that this episode or episodes has like the fun little like callbacks, and then the unique relationships and the fun perspectives from Donna and all that. So it has its moments.
I agree.
And there's something really cool about when a companion meets a classic villain for the first time, like, because the doctor knows, and when the doctor sees the Sontarans, he recognizes, so he knows what's at stake. But Martha and Donna have not seen Sontarans, so they have no idea. It's been a while for Unit, so they, I don't even know if Unit's ever seen them. I mean, probably they have, but we don't have any record of it if they had. And so it's always cool, I think, when the doctor, like, and we are in on it too, because we're like, hey, we know who these guys are. They're really bad. They've got history, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought that they did a really good job at keeping the Sontaran history going with the war, with the Rutans, mentioning that. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like, it's still going on. It's been going on forever. And everything they do is in service to that war. They're not after Earth for any other reason than they need to make more of them to fight in that war.
Exactly. Actually, I think they did meet, Unit did meet the Sontarans in the very first appearance, the Time Warrior.
Oh, interesting.
Because it was the Third Doctor and Sarah Jane. Because that was Sarah Jane's first episode.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's one I can't remember that one. But you're probably right. Like, I definitely could see that. So, for sure. So, because I think they had him on record. Because I think once it was finally revealed to Unit who the Sontarans were behind it, they went quickly into action and they didn't even question like who. They were just like, oh, okay. So I thought that was really cool to when the show acknowledges that yes, this show has history beyond what we're doing now. And I think Russell is just finally getting comfortable with that. I don't think he was as comfortable the first season or so of New Who for a lot of reasons, but I think now he's really comfortable with having the Doctor dip back into his past, and for classic Who stuff to come into fruition in New Who.
Yep, that's a good way to put it. That is definitely a good way. All right, let's go ahead and rate 1 out of 5 TARDISes, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Shannon, you get to go first tonight.
I'm going to put this at a 3.5.
Okay. That's fair.
3.5, yeah.
All right.
It has a lot of good points. There's a lot of things that I love about it. But overall, it does kind of fall flat when it comes to the storyline. And so the watchability of it kind of takes it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand that. That's awesome. All right, Mary, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm also going to give it a 3.5 because it's very middle of the road to me. And there are some really nice character moments in it. I absolutely agree with that. Not impressed with the Luke Radigan character, as everybody heard, but, to each their own. Not impressed by Helen Rayner's plotting. But she did give us some nice character moments, or at least the actors did. I don't know which one was which. And I like the classic Who vibe. I liked Unit. That was fun. So it's definitely got its good points. I think I would probably still recommend it with a caveat of, just hand wave the plot out the window because you're not going to get anything from that.
Bingo. That's awesome. Mr. Mike.
I'm going to give 4. Like I said, I mean, yes, the plot is ridiculous, but like I said, I mean, it's so hot, like, I'd have to knock every single one of, the Third Doctor's ones off if I was going by just plots, but it's fun. Like, I don't mind if a plot is sort of ridiculous as long as everybody's having fun. It seems like everybody's having fun in this. I just love seeing Martha back, and in a strong way too. I think she got to do some things here that she didn't get to do before. And, it made me very happy to see that she was, when I was watching this, the first time, it made me very happy to see that she was continuing on. Of course, we've already reviewed that one, just recently, but, it's good to have her still on Team TARDIS. And she works great with Donna and of course 10. So it's great to see them all together, and, everything else is just fun.
Okay. Fantastic. I'm going to give this a 3. For me, it was just middle of the road. It would have gotten less, but it had so many decent moments. If it wasn't for the 3 mains in this one, it probably would have gotten a 2.5, because I thought the story dragged. I thought a lot of the characters were worthless, and it was just like, how many times can I see the Sontarans walking up the stairs, or how many or going down the hall and everything? I was like, yeah.
We did have a lot of corridors.
Yeah, they did. They did.
It's Doctor Who. We have a lot of corridors. We use that same corridor over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Mike, I have to ask, because I know, and sorry, but I don't remember you saying exactly how you felt, because I would imagine out of almost all of us, because I know how much you really love Unit, this is the first time I don't remember you saying exactly if you were disappointed by Unit's return here.
Unit was, I think I put Unit in this one the same level I put Unit into the which was the one with the flying double-decker bus episode, or and it was just like there was like so many Unit references, and it didn't work. It could have been the British Army. They didn't stand out as the United Nations, intelligence, everything. It was just like, meh. There was no standout characters. I didn't like who they had as the Brigadier. I didn't like, even the little nod at the end where, when they succeeded and the captain kissed, the Brigadier. It was just it was like, why? Didn't seem like there was any chemistry there before this. It was like, that was out of left field. And just the whole thing with Luke, I thought it was just like, that could have been completely taken out and it probably would have been a better story. And so overall, that's why I give it a 3. And a 3 is being generous for me on this one. So what do you guys think at home? Please, let us know. Feedback at ourstationwho.com is the best way to get in touch with us. We definitely would love to hear from you. All right. As we said earlier, if you're going to be at Dragon Con or at home, we will have a virtual panel Saturday at 11:30 where we talk about the Doctor Who spinoffs. And yes, Unit does come up in that conversation. So definitely, check it out. And actually a certain Sontaran with, 2 other individuals also comes up in that conversation. So, it covers this episode much better than this episode actually was. So there you go. All right. I want to thank everyone for joining us, everybody. Please have a great time if you're going to Dragon Con. Drink a bucket of rum for me if you are. Grab some apple pie. I am very, 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 envious of that. So hopefully you guys will enjoy yourself. Mr. Mike, where can people find you at Dragon Con?
Well, they can find me in the comic and pop art artist alley. I will be at table 624. It's the same table spot that I was in for the past few years. And I will be there most of the time. There will be times where I will be on panels, my panel schedule, and all the other information that you can that you want to know about me is found on my website, as well as on Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of fun stuff.
Excellent. And Shannon, you're going to be there also.
I am. What
do you have planned for Dragon Con?
Well, I'm actually going to be working with the Urban Fantasy track. I'll be working a lot of the different panels for that, including the Buffy Horror Show that will be on Sunday. I'll be helping with props and stuff like that in the back. So
very awesome. Glad you're going to get getting more and more involved with it. That's pretty cool. I love it.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And of course, Ms. Mary Ogle, where can people find your artwork, my dear?
You can find me at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts.
And depending what the hurricane does, she might be stuck in Tallahassee all weekend.
Oh, yes.
Hopefully not.
It's getting worse. The forecast keeps getting worse.
I know.
It's just starting to rain here for me. So
yeah. We have a storm here right now, but nothing to do with that. So hopefully, guys, you guys are all safe, and everyone at home have a great time wherever you guys are. We definitely are looking forward to talking to you guys in a couple weeks. Until then, my name is Mike Faber. On behalf of myself, Mary Ogle, Michael Gordon, and of course, Shannon Clute. Thank you very, very much for being with us, folks. We'll see you here next time. Peace, and let's go chase some Sontaran suit time, my friends. We're out of here.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
Soul Forge Podcast. It's a geeky look at love, life, fandom, mental health, pop culture, and so much more. If you're into learning about yourself and the universe, Soul Forge is your podcast. Each week, we have a surprising new topic, from stupid things we do for love to product reviews, and there's almost always a fun guest host. Like and subscribe to Soul Forge Podcast today.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.